Roger Goodman, I first met when he was part of the King County Bar Association, working on drug policy issues, and since then he's gone on to higher elected office. And so, welcome Roger Goodman, one of your Seattle State Senators.
Thanks, Philippe. You're elected too, aren't you? Yeah, Philippe, he's an elected official as well. Yeah, I've been working with the King County Bar Association for almost a decade now, organizing lawyers and doctors and other stuffed shirts to give the professional voice to drug policy reform, to give opinion leaders and policymakers some cover. Now the Voluntary Committee of Lawyers that I direct is working nationally with bar associations and all other professional groups all across the country to do the same thing, to get lawyers, and particularly lawyers, but professionals, to speak up about drug policy and give some courage to policymakers to take action. And as Philippe said, I'm also an elected official. I'm vice chair of the House Judiciary Committee here in the Washington State Legislature. And in that capacity, I'm one of very few lawyers in the legislature. And my drug policy work in the legislature is at the salad bar, or in sort of rooms that you don't see my work in the legislature. It's very quiet, very subtle, sort of testing the waters, giving some of my colleagues some different ways to frame the issue, that this isn't about drugs, this is about fiscal responsibility, this is about protecting our children better, this is about providing health care, this is about cleaning up public spaces and so forth. We're getting close to a tipping point. And so my quiet work in the legislature is working with the other suits, but my not so quiet work out in the professional world, and we're making more noise now because we're clearly at a point where drug policy is not just a marginal issue anymore. It's really been mainstreamed, and folks understand that it's a strategic issue. My off the Capitol campus, my work involves getting those bar associations across the country, such as Colorado, Wisconsin, Massachusetts, New York. Massachusetts Bar Association just released a report 2 weeks ago. It's on the desk of every Massachusetts state legislator, and the title is, with a nice seal on it, it says, "The Failure of the War on Drugs, Charting a New Course for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts." You don't even have to open it. It says the failure of the war on drugs, and it's on the desk of the state legislator. So it's just sort of seeping into their minds, And that's kind of what we're doing, is giving legislators a sense that this is not an issue to be afraid of. And I'll make one more comment in that vein. When I first ran for office, my opponent hit me hard on the drug policy issue. That I was going to be selling drugs to kids. I wanted to be the state director of drug dealing. All these sort of things, and my poll numbers went up afterward. Okay, so the people get it. Now, one final note in that: 2 years later, I ran for re-election against my esteemed colleague Toby Nixon, and please give Toby a hand because he is a great. So remember, my first election, I was hit hard for wanting to sell drugs to kids, and I was this evil guy. 2 years later, I run against an opponent who agrees with us that we need to reform drug policy, and in public, Toby criticized me for not being aggressive enough on drug policy. So in a 2-year period, we've come a long way. So
I think that's fantastic. Thanks a lot, Roger. It's worthwhile mentioning, when I ran for office, it was I had no trouble at the medical marijuana issue. The fact that I distribute medical marijuana never became a political issue. I had more trouble convincing people to vote green than to vote for a medical marijuana distributor. So I was a Green Party candidate. But